Hello, Sam here. Today I'm doing another video on the OCD Recovery YouTube channel in regards to the importance of high frustration tolerance with life in general, and also how it relates to the OCD recovery journey, and how important it is, how crucial it is to embody it and to apply it to the journey. Okay, so first of all, we acknowledge and we understand that in human life, all forms of human life, there are many frustrations and there are many difficulties, there are many misfortunes, there are many injustices in life, okay? And these things will continue to happen. These things will continue to prevail, they will continue to occur. That's life, okay? That's part of life, always has been, and more than likely always will be. Okay, so we learn to change the things that we can change, or at least attempt to change the things that we can change. To give you an example, let's say someone was bullying you, someone was being horrible to you, okay, saying things to you, and you can say, you can calmly, you can rationally say to them, look, I don't like your behaviour towards me. It's because they might not even be aware. You can try and change their behaviour. But if not, you can learn and you can accept, but not agree. So you learn to not like something, but to accept the things that you cannot change. Okay, so to give you a more extreme example of that, so let's say natural disasters, an earthquake, a tsunami. So we dislike it. Of course, they're very challenging. They're very difficult situations in life, but we learn to accept these things and accept they are part of life. Okay, and building that tolerance of frustration and understanding difficulties are all part of life. Okay. So, how does high frustration tolerance link to the OCD journey? Okay, I was a whiner. I was a moaner. I wanted an overnight fix. I couldn't understand why I couldn't do a bit of disputing, couldn't do a few exposures or chasing exposures. Why wouldn't I recover after a few exposures? I might write down my fears on paper. Why hadn't I recovered after one day? Or I'm still seeking reassurance. Why am I not recovered? Okay, looking for that quick fix. Not welcoming those uncomfortable feelings, those sensations. Okay, not wearing it like an uncomfortable coat. I wanted it all gone. Okay, I was, like I said, I moaned. And a classic example of the low frustration tolerance. Okay, I couldn't stand any frustration. It was the worst thing in the world to me. Okay, so why is it so important in the OCD journey? So we need to learn to tolerate uncomfortable feelings, such as guilt, such as panic, such as anxiety, derealization, depersonalization, all these things that come in with all different themes of OCD. Okay, so tolerating the feeling of guilt. And I'm not saying you live with that forever and just put up with it. I'm not saying that, because you work on your beliefs, you challenge your perspectives around that to lower the guilt, to lower the chronic shame, to lower the feelings of embarrassment, humiliation, all these things. But as we first come on the journey, we wear it like an uncomfortable coat. I love that saying. So you're accepting these feelings. You're having a high frustration tolerance towards these. Okay, you're not saying, "Oh my God, I feel wrapped up with guilt today. I feel strong anxiety today. I can't stand it. This is terrible." Okay, so becoming comfortable with uncomfortable feelings. If that makes sense. Okay. Next point. OCD is very challenging. It is relentless. It's always going to try and not let you off the hook, not have that at minute's peace. It's always going to try and keep you in the OCD cycle of performing compulsions, seeking reassurance. It's always going to try and make you feel like you're back to square one. It's very relentless, very challenging, very difficult. Okay, it's not to say you can't recover, but of course it's challenging. Okay, it's not an overnight fix. It's not just putting a little bit of work and all sorted. Okay, not with chronic OCD. So it's important not to give up there. So having that high frustration tolerance, getting used to these uncomfortable feelings and not giving up, okay? Having one bad day, having a setback, having a relapse, not giving up, not going, oh, fuck this, I can't be bothered with this anymore. I'm going to pack it in. If I get worse, I get worse. I'm just going to go back to doing compulsion, seeking reassurance. No, okay? That's low frustration tolerance. That's not getting used to things not going your way, okay? That's life and OCD, okay? So it's always going to try and keep you stuck. So not giving up. Okay, getting through those bad days. All right, OCD recovery takes patience and persistence. Okay, there's many obstacles to overcome. There's many hurdles to overcome. It morphs, it moves, it changes. All these different things that OCD that latches onto. Okay, so having that persistence, becoming more tolerant to OCD and how it works, not just giving up at the slightest bit of challenge, the slightest bit of difficulty. Okay, now let me list off some negatives of low frustration tolerance. Why low frustration tolerance isn't effective, not just in life but OCD. Let me just list off some negatives there. So if we're awfulising, if we're terribilising, okay, if we're saying, that's awful, I can't stand this, that person's awful, they're the worst thing in the world, okay, you're not being very acceptant, so you're not applying the unconditional acceptance. You're saying OCD suffering is awful, that is terrible, that is the worst thing in the world. Okay. Saying, I can't stand this, I can't stand that, I can't stand the feeling of panic, I can't stand the feeling of guilt, I can't stand the physical sensations, I can't stand the physical anxiety that comes along with OCD. Okay, you can stand this, okay? Saying you can't stand it is low frustration tolerance. Of course you can. You've got to build that frustration tolerance, okay? And saying to yourself, no matter how challenging it is, no matter how difficult it is, no matter how frustrating it is, I can stand it and I will survive. I'm not going to just die because of the feeling of guilt or the feeling of anxiety. Okay, so changing your beliefs and building that high frustration tolerance. Okay, another negative of it is you're more likely to give up. It's going to be easier to give up if you've got low frustration tolerance. Okay, any bit of challenge, any bit of having to put the work in, anything when things aren't going your way, when OCD feel like it's all getting on top of you, it's going to be easier to give up if you haven't got the high frustration tolerance. Going back to performing your compulsion, seeking your reassurance, going back to everything that kept you stuck in the OCD cycle. Okay, feeling like everything that you've learned along the journey is all just a waste of time, and you're back to square one. All right, so all these things with low frustration tolerance, all the things that can arise just by not saying you can't stand this, you can't stand that. Okay, you're awfulising it. You're saying it's totally terrible. No, it's just a bad day. It's just a setback. Okay, you can learn from the setback. It's an opportunity. It's a blessing in disguise. It's showing you what you can learn. Okay, so just changing your beliefs and, like I keep saying, building that high frustration tolerance. Okay, not shirking at the thought of any discomfort. There's a lot of discomfort along the OCD recovery journey. Okay, no one's going to breeze their way there. There's all these different, it's gradual moments along the journey, going through lots of discomfort with exposures, facing your fears, you're fearing things you don't want to hear. So, such as, you need to stop seeking reassurance, you need to stop Googling, you need to stop confessing, you need to learn to sit with that uncomfortable feeling of guilt, that uncomfortable feeling of panic. Okay, getting used to that discomfort. Wearing that discomfort like an uncomfortable coat. I absolutely love that saying. Okay. And the last point I'd like to make is getting used to not trying to fix it all overnight. Okay. When triggered, you can feel like you're all back at the start and everything you've learned has all just gone down the toilet. That's how it feels. It can feel life and death. It can feel like nothing else matters. Oh, for fuck's sake, I was doing so well, and all of a sudden, I've been triggered again. I can't stand that. That's fucking terrible. What a waste of time. I'm giving up. Okay, not looking for that overnight fix. This is all part of the journey. That persistence and patience that we bang on about. Okay, it's not an overnight quick fix. All right, we'd love it if we could all recover in a week. That would be happy days, wouldn't it? But that's not the reality of it. Okay, that's not the truth of any recovery journey. Okay, so that's a video on frustration tolerance. I hope that makes sense. I hope it's quite easy to understand, and I hope you can learn to build high frustration tolerance. It's a very crucial thing with life and OCD. All right, if you like this video, please give a like. I much appreciate that. Any suggestions, any feedback you'd like me to do with more videos in the future, or anyone else on this channel, that would be much appreciated. I can certainly try and look to do some videos. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do so. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye bye.